Hey everyone, it's Logan, and we're continuing the Q&A with all the Thursday night regional reps. So this video is all about travel. So the first question is, what is the best trip you've ever been on?
Favorite coaster trip ever was probably the California one with Logan, Maddie, Abe, Chase, and Sean, and all the others. My favorite moment from that trip was probably riding full throttle in the front row with Sean.
Best trip so far has to be either my Germany trip, where I did go to Fantasyland, Tripsdrill and Europa Park, or my Sweden trip, where I did go to Hansa Park, Kolmarden and Grunneland.
I haven't really been on many trips where I go to multiple parks, so I would have to say this one weekend where I hit up Great Adventure with a bunch of my friends on Saturday, and then I went to Six Flags America on Sunday and met up with so many more, and it was so awesome. I met so many people, and it was like so much fun. That was like the best weekend ever.
The best trip I've had is my past summer 2019 trip. I went to Cedar Point, Kennywood, and Six Flags Great Adventure, and I got to meet Abe, BK Photo Page, Hollywood Studios. It was incredible.
I'm not sure. All the trips are so fun. Just there's like different things that happen in every trip. I don't know what to value more. The New Year's trip had so many people. It was chaotic, but it was super fun. The Virginia trip, it was the first trip we had ever done, so it was brand new, so that was it made it more fun, it made it more interesting because it was new territory to have like 4 friends and just be going on this huge road trip together. So, I mean, one of those, because they were both fun, but kind of for different reasons.
I don't really have a favorite trip I've been on, but if I had to choose one, I'd probably have to say the Southern California trip I did in March of 2019.
My favorite trip I've been on was definitely when I went back to America this fall. It was amazing getting to meet lots of my best friends, and I was there for 3 months. I got to go to 8 parks and went to tons of new states, and yeah, it was just incredible, and I really miss it.
My favorite trip that I've been to is the one last year to Holland. I visited Walibi Holland, Toverland, Bobbejaanland, and Efteling. And Efteling, Toverland, and Walibi, these 3 stays was some of the best that I ever had in a theme park. So that's why that trip is my favorite, even though that I've been to a lot of longer trips than that.
The best trip I've been on, was a really small trip, but it meant so much to me. It was going to Cedar Point for the very first time last year during Coaster Mania. I went the day before in Coaster Mania, and oh my gosh, the memories I made from that night were so fun. It just was such a blast, and I wish I didn't have to leave early, but I loved that day so much. It was so fun going to ride all the coasters at Cedar Point for the very first time, and getting to hang out with Maddie and Logan and Billy and everyone else. It was just such a blast. Not Itai though, no one likes Itai, but that day was so fun.
Best trip I've been on, definitely when I went to America, and went to Disneyland, Universal Studios, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and yeah, it was really fun.
Probably my Cedar Point 2019 trip. That was pretty awesome.
The best trip I've been on is the Wii trip. It was the greatest experience of my entire life.
The best trip I've been on was probably the Extravaganza, just because we had so many unique experiences, and I was with some of my best friends, and I just had such an amazing time there.
Like Skylar said, the New Year's Extravaganza was an incredible experience and one of the best weeks of my entire life. But that doesn't really count as a trip for me because all the people were staying in my house and we were just doing a ton of stuff near my area. So my best trip, you guys probably know that back in 2018, me, my dad, and 3 other dudes went on an epic trip to Europe. And we did 21 theme parks in 22 days. And we went to Spain, Italy, Germany, had dinner in France, and drove through the Swiss Alps. Went to the Netherlands and then back to Germany and then Sweden and the UK. And those parks were incredibly fun, and we did ride some awesome coasters on that trip. But the things that me and those guys remember the most are the things we did in between. Some of those incredible things we did was, as I mentioned before, driving over the Swiss Alps. walking around Madrid, Spain at night, which is incredible because that's like one of the major capitals of the world, and that was just so bizarre. And meeting up with Harry in Amsterdam and having dinner there, renting an apartment in Verona, and just all of those incredible experiences are just things that I'll never forget. And I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to go on that trip. So the next question is, if you could go to any country to ride coasters, what would it be? And as you guys probably know, most of these answers are the same.
If I could go to any country to ride roller coasters, it would probably be Japan because I know there's some crazy parks over there and some equally insane coasters. I've also been studying Japanese for the past 3 years, so I'd love to go just for that aspect as well.
The country that I would love to visit to ride roller coasters is Japan because it looks like they have a lot of great coasters that are so unique and yeah, they just look amazing.
I would also love to go to Japan to ride coasters as well, but another country I would really love to go to in order to ride coasters is the United States. We've been to a few parks there in like Florida and Virginia, but like the whole West Coast and everything, like there's so many parks we've never been to there. And they just look like they have so many amazing coasters. And it's funny because Japan and the United States are both places we've lived, but we were very young, so we never got to experience the majority of the parks there.
I would love to go to Japan. I'd also really love to go back to Germany, but I've already been there. Other than that, I would also really love to go to China as well. All of those countries have amazing coasters, and I really want to ride them all.
I would definitely go to Japan, and at some point my family's gonna go to Japan to go there with my aunt because they go every summer, but there's so many good coasters there. Obviously I'd want to go to Japan, not just for the coasters. I mean, the coasters are a big part of it, but just, you know, to go to Tokyo, I think it's so cool. It's one of the, regardless of coasters, it's one of the like top places I'd want to visit in the world.
Probably America or Dubai. So in America they have so many like big parks, but then in Dubai they have my number one bucket list roller coaster, which is Formula Rosa.
I would probably want to go to the UK because of the Smiler, and I would also probably want to go to Japan because of Fujiku Highland.
If I could go to any country purely for roller coasters, it would probably be Germany. They have some pretty good parks.
The country that I want to go to the most to ride coasters, that's not a hard choice for me. That is North America. I've never been there and I want to go there so bad.
I'd really love to visit Japan because they have some awesome coasters there.
For me, I would probably choose China just because of all the amazing coasters they have there.
I would either go to Sweden, as I've been to Sweden but never ridden any coaster there, or China. I mean, it's a huge country with really, really good coasters. And also some bad ones, but mainly good ones.
If I could go to any other country to ride coasters, it would probably be Japan because Hakuge and Ejinaika and Dododonpa all look incredibly amazing.
Well, I do feel like Europe has the best coaster collection when it comes to international parks outside of America. I would want to go to China just because of the majority of coasters they have there, and honestly for Hong Kong and Shanghai Disneyland. I love Disney, and to go to those two parks, they're high on my bucket list. And it would definitely be those two parks I would mainly go to China for, since they're the hardest to go to, China.
My number one bucket list country to ride coasters is of course the US.
Japan. Wait, what did I say that again? Just like Japan, you know.
Where do you want to go?
Japan. Japan.
What country is that?
Japan.
And as most of those guys said, I would also love to go to Japan. That place seems like they have some awesome parks. And I'd also love to go to China to experience those massive, crazy GCIs and wing coasters and stuff. And also to Poland to go to those parks like Energylandia and Legendia and all those others. But the country I want to go to the most period would probably be Australia. And that's actually probably going to be our next big international trip. And, you know, we'll still ride the coasters and go to the cool parks there. But the cool adventurous stuff you could do seems outstanding. Like, I'd love to go scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef and swimming with great white sharks, and also skydiving and bungee jumping in New Zealand. That just seems like something that I'll only be able to do once in my life, and it just seems incredible. Next question. Do you prefer parks with better coasters or better theming and atmosphere?
I think that theming and atmosphere are overall more important than coasters. For example, I love going to Great Adventure, but I had an amazing time at Phantasialand and Disney because they give a more complete experience overall, even though their coasters may not be quite as thrilling.
I mostly prefer parks with both good coasters and good theming. That's why I prefer Toverland over Walibi Holland and Toverland also over the Efteling.
Personally, I am definitely big on atmosphere and theming above coasters. Personally, for me, my favorite park is Disneyland, partially for sentimental value reasons, but it probably always will be. And if you told me I could never go to Disneyland again or never ride a roller coaster again, I'm picking Disneyland. Sorry for all the enthusiasts I just pissed off. My bad.
I prefer parks with good rides, just because I feel like it's a lot more enjoyable. But like, Cedar Point's my favorite park, and it has really good atmosphere. It's not like theming, but it's good atmosphere. It feels so nice to be there. And I really like that. So like a good mix between the two is really good. But if I could choose like Great Adventure over, like, I haven't been to Disney in a while, but any Disney park, I would say Great Adventure just because I love their ride.
I'm not really sure if I prefer better coasters or better theming and atmosphere. I think they're both really important, so I would love a mixture, obviously. But if I'd have to choose, I would probably say theming. Just for example, like, Efteling doesn't have the greatest coasters, but they're still pretty fun, and the theming is, like, incredible. So, yeah, I think probably theming, but I would hope that they would have good coasters, too.
For me, I think I probably prefer coasters over theming. While I do appreciate theming, I don't know, I'm kind of just more drawn to the better coasters.
For a park, I definitely choose a better theming and atmosphere.
So this one's really tough. I mean, coasters versus theming, that's pretty hard. But I think I would go with theming just because, like, whenever I go to a park, that's the thing I think I look for the most. Like, if the atmosphere of the park is nice, I think that I'll enjoy the park a lot better. So, yeah.
I agree on the last thing she said, that if the theming is better, you'll enjoy the park more. But this is a really tough one for me as well, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to pick coasters. Like, I think theming is really important in a park, but I think coasters are a little more important because take a park like Europa Park. I love that park a lot, and the theming is probably some of the best I've ever seen. It's such a beautiful park, but I don't think they have any, like, really good coasters, and that's the reason why I don't like that park too much. So I would definitely have to say coasters because to me, that's kind of what matters the most in the end.
Yeah, this decision was really hard.
I prefer parks with better coasters.
I prefer parks with theming.
So I do like some really, really good coasters, but if I have to choose a park that have amazing coasters and not that good of an atmosphere, or a park that have little to no good coasters, but a fantastic atmosphere and theming and stuff like that, it is most important for me that the park is nice to enjoy rather than the coaster itself. I'm much more of a theme park enthusiast than I'm a roller coaster enthusiast. So that also means that if a park have good rides, that doesn't have to mean that the rides have to be coasters. If they have good water rides, good dark rides, good everything, just good rides for me, that's important.
I prefer a balance because, like, I don't want, like, a park that has, like, really bad coasters and amazing atmosphere, but I don't like one that has, like, just amazing coasters. So, probably, like, Cedar Point for me is just a great mix of both. Like, they have that incredible atmosphere and setting as well as that great coaster collection.
If you guys didn't know already, I love Disney World. If you didn't know, wow. Congratulations. So, I definitely would say I prefer theming and atmosphere over rides. Hollywood Studios is my favorite park in the entire world, along with Epcot, and Epcot doesn't even have one operating roller coaster. Nor have they ever. So I think when it comes to theming and atmosphere, it just brings on the experience more. And I honestly feel like dark rides much more memorable than coasters. I'm still a huge coaster enthusiast, but I definitely consider myself more of a theme park or amusement park enthusiast instead of a coaster enthusiast. So I definitely would say theming and atmosphere.
Well, that's a hard one. If I'm in a rush to get all my credits, I prefer the rides, but if I'm there to take my time, I really do prefer the theming.
So I feel like the purpose of a theme park is to kind of like distract yourself from the real world and just feel like you're in a completely different dimension. Like regular amusement parks, they don't really do that. They just add a crap ton of rides and roller coasters. But theme parks, when they do it right, it is an extremely incredible and immersive experience. Like, for example, Cedar Point. A ton of people call it the best amusement park in the world. Although, like, I feel like the coasters do make the park what it is. Like, if you didn't have the coasters and rides there, the park wouldn't be that good. But, like, Phantasialand, if you took away all the rides, that would still be, like, one of the most famous places to go to in the world, probably. So my answer would be better theming and atmosphere, for sure. So that's it for this installment of the Q&A. If you want to, you can see the playlist with all the previous questions and answers. And stay tuned for the next few installments of the Q&A. We'll see you guys later.